morning, Sonic. Good morning. How are you all doing today?
Man, doing good. Just another day in Sonic paradise.
It sure is paradise, isn't it, Drac? Because we sure did bounce back hard from the last time we talked about it. We bounced from 25 cents all the way up to 35 cents briefly for a brief moment in time. And it felt good, but you know what? It's not enough. It's not enough.
You ain't got enough money.
You gotta get big. Okay? I don't have enough money. I gotta get big, dude. And so that's why I'm really excited, Dracula. We're ushering in, what is it? Joyful July.
Yes. Joyful.
Sorry, that one was a little delayed. Yeah. So we're going to drink Joyful July here. All the prophets have agreed on the timeline that it's Joyful July. Kaido sentiment is through the roof, you know. So where do we go from here, Drac? Where do we go from here? What do we want to talk about first? Because there's a lot of things going into Joyful July here. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, we got like a few things going on because like last week, you know, we were in New York, then we did the Sonic Sphere episode. So, you know, there was like a handful like things that like, you know, we probably should talk about. Obviously, if you haven't heard somehow, like if you still haven't heard this, I mean, I would find it hard to believe, right? But I think we at least have to, you know, say, yeah, S is on Coinbase now. And I'm sure most people know this, but it wouldn't feel right to at least not like talk about it on the show since we were so busy last week.
Yeah, let me bring someone up here who I think, well, he might have had something to do with this. At least he's saying he had something to do with it. Sonic Assistant. Do you know Brian Armstrong? You play golf with him? Is this how this happened?
Yeah, we
go to bar mitzvah.
We go to the same body waxing salon.
That's for a refund. That was you, buddy. I saw you at Sonic permissionless.
Yeah,
and
sweaty.
Saw of them, to be honest.
Very sweaty.
Despite it being so hot, we came out winning. Right? I was kind of afraid of there being a post-event dump.
Some people didn't show up to the event, I will say, because of the heat. Like I think it should have been a bigger turnout. But I mean, we ran out of merch, so that's usually a good indicator that if you have merch left over, it could have been more people. If you ran out,
yeah.
But I was getting messages like, "Hey, I wish I could have met you guys today, but it's too hot. I'm not leaving the hotel."
Yeah, I knew a couple people that.
And then when I got that message, I was like, "Why the fuck did I leave my hotel?"
Yeah, no, I had a couple people. Same thing, like, you know, people from other chains that were like, "Oh yeah, I'm coming to the event," and then like it was like 1 or 2 o'clock. They're just like, sorry, bro, I can't do it. Like I'm just not leaving till tonight.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds about right. Well, look, hey, Coinbase, we can talk to ask questions. I mean, I would love to talk about it. I put in a lot of time in Coinbase, so I have most of the answers that I can share.
Yeah. Well, what was like the breakthrough that finally? I mean, here's the thing. A lot of times when these things happen, you know, you've said this before, and I've had it happen firsthand too, where a lot of times you don't even know it's necessarily going to happen or like when.
Yeah.
But obviously with like Coinbase, they finally came to you and said, okay, we're doing it. Or like, you know, like what was the breakthrough on that?
There's never, I mean, this is for any like major exchange listing. There's never that message that says like you're getting listed. Like that's not how it works. The way that it works typically is that if, first of all, I want to make a clear, distinguish something like really important for the community to understand, which is like, I know sometimes it sucks like over the past year when you see tokens getting listed really frequently, right? But all those tokens that they list are either ERC20 or SPL. So like they already have the chain integrated. For Sonic, it's much different because on Sonic, it's its own chain. So like for them to integrate the token, they have to integrate the chain, right? Like you can't do there's no ERC20 token. And even if that were the case, like I've ran through this many times, even if it was the Fantom ERC20, like people are going to say, well, why didn't they do it years before? It's just so weird that like you would support the ERC20 token and not the native one when there's a native one that exists. So there's like a little bit of like a gray area there. But I think that the way that we knew that we we're getting close is they just start to ask questions about integrating the chain. But that's a lot of people ask us questions about integrating the chain on like a daily basis. I mean, exchanges, institutions, market makers that we don't use, right? There's people that are always looking to arbitrage price, even if they're not like have a contract with us or whatever. So I think it's pretty normal that a lot of people are like would ask to find details about the chain. But I mean, we'll say like we've provided them details before, like historically, and it didn't mean anything. So it doesn't necessarily guarantee anything. But I will say that I think like everyone on our team could attest that like the reason that we were able to get listed is also has a lot to do with like persistence. Like we were just the community just hammering down. Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many comments I've seen over the years, like in Brian Armstrong's like comments, like list Phantom, list S. Yeah, I think that if you can imagine how many times I've emailed them, how many times I've met them in person, how many times I've done calls, text messages, like basically everything, just to get like them to pay attention to Sonic. I think that it's hard because nowadays there's a lot of chains and there's a lot of competition, but I think that we made a good business case. And there's more to come with Coinbase, by the way. There's more coming. It's not just this. So yeah.
What else could possibly be coming, dude, from Coinbase?
I don't know.
More.
I don't know.
We can't put more. So it's kind of unclear what the holdup was, other than, I mean, it makes sense, right? So if you're announcing the migration,
there is
like
no cabal like anti-Sonic. Like if that's what people want me to say, I know how it is. Like people want me to say like there's been like I mean, everyone in Sonic right now is always about coordinated efforts, right? Like there's a coordinated effort against us. I don't think there is. Like,
let's be real, Sonic Assistant. It's at the end of the day, it's probably some criteria on their internal side about, is this profitable for us to put the energy into integrating at this point? Right?
Yeah. I don't think that's it. Honestly, I'll tell you what I think it is, because profit doesn't really matter. If that's the case, they would list every layer one, right? Because it's just like, why not? I think it's also just like they have like how many chains they can integrate per quarter, probably, right? Like they don't have infinite bandwidth, because like getting listed on a US like regulated exchange is like, it's a lot of work for them. I mean, yes, did we have to provide a lot of documentation? Of course, like, but we did that a long time ago.
Yeah.
There isn't. Yeah, finally, one person is admitting there is no coordinator. Everyone thinks there's a cabal for everything in this industry. It's crazy, but sometimes there is, for sure. I believe that, but right now, I mean, I think it was just persistence, and they probably saw the tech. I mean, they were using the chain and probably just saw it, and then it just evolved from there. But yeah, the most important thing for me is that, like, to stress is like, we didn't pay anything, because it's a double-edged sword when you get to the point where like people are gonna be like, oh, you got listed, but did you like use so much money from the treasury? And then they get stressed about like the runway of the treasury. Like the treasury was untouched from listing S, right? Like no.
Well, perfect. So it costs nothing. It's just an epic win across the board, dude. That's what I want to hear.
The listing of the S token costs nothing, correct? On Coinbase.
That was kind of an exciting moment on the timeline, though, where there was like a fight between Andre and Brian about whether.
Yeah, I mean, I participated in that as well. Honestly, like I don't really mind it, because I got so many followers.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. I gotta be right back.
Well, while assistant hops off, we were going to talk about basically, you know, I guess it's while we're, you know, talking about Coinbase, it's like you may as well just talk about the big news yesterday. Robinhood is like going to have like their own L2, and I guess or maybe someone can correct me here, because I've seen L2 thrown around, but I've also seen that it's going to be like a Arbitrum orbit chain, which is technically an L3. Like they call that an L3. So I need to get to I don't know if they're just using the Arbitrum stack or if it is an actual orbit chain. But big deal, obviously.
Significance if it was an orbit chain. Does that just generate more revenue for Arbitrum?
It's like Inception. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, like it's like, you know, Ethereum benefits from the revenue of the L2, and Arbitrum literally has a system just like, being an L2 for their orbit chains. So yeah, so Arbitrum makes money from you having, your own chain off their stack that, gets all the stuff all the security and stuff comes from the Arbitrum side. So yeah, like I said, I mean, who knows? I'm sure like one day we'll get all the way to like L4 or L5, but
you play on the Activision blockchain built on Avalanche, and then on the Activision blockchain you play on the Call of Duty blockchain, and then you play on the Modern Warfare, like 6 levels deep.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd say it's a big deal though. It's it's like you got to at least acknowledge that. I mean, Coinbase obviously having base a big deal and was a no-brainer in the scope of things, but I would say like Robinhood they've obviously dabbled in crypto for a long time, but Robinhood having definitely more of like a TradFi upbringing, I'd say it's a big deal. Like I think we're gonna see more of this obviously as time goes on. And I remember last run that was always like a thing that people sold on. People would sell hype like, oh, this company's gonna make this chain using Polygon tech or whatever. But then it was like no one ever actually launched their chain. It's just like a marketing expense or whatever. So obviously I think we're finally getting to that time frame where like you are actually going to see a lot of big companies launch their own chains.
I'm back, brother.
Okay, so we're talking about Robinhood's L3 possibly on Arbitrum, and it's kind of exciting in that I can't think of very many other integrations like this.
I mean, my thing always about these like big chains like that is how do they bootstrap users? Like, how do they get like it's very hard for them to like run campaigns and stuff. I don't know.
Okay, so this is still confusing. I was just talking about this while you were off, but I just looked it up. Okay, so I've seen people say it's an L2 just built with the Arbitrum stack. I've seen people say it's going to be an Arbitrum orbit chain, which would make it an L3. And literally the release basically says they're launching an L2 built on Arbitrum infrastructure. So that would also imply that it is an L3, but they're literally saying it's an L2. So I don't know.
No, that I think they're just building an L2 with Arbitrum
like stack.
Arbitrum bridge. Yeah.
Okay.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Because there's so much liability. Like if you have an L3, then you're like really tied to the chain. But if you have an L2 and you're just using, so incoming. Oh, yo, that's mad funny. That's actually super funny. So that reminds me of like when they stopped the
GameStop.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it'll be like this token's pumping too much. Freeze the chain.
I don't know about you guys, but can you open up this video real quick? Like, doesn't this remind you of like Succession or something? Like the way where this was filmed. It like when you saw Vitalik there, I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing here? It looks way too opulent for.
Oh yeah, this does look very like
billions or something.
Exposure to private companies like SpaceX and OpenAI, which are now worth billions of dollars.
He's like, I want to say, first of all, thank you for coming to our all-white Diddy party.
Bro, it's not even, it's the neckerchief that's killing me. Like, bro has it's like clearly 100 degrees and homeboy has a neckerchief.
That I walked in
are these guys launching a chain or are they about to race horses?
Well, I'm holding in my hands right now the keys to the first ever stock tokens for OpenAI.
He just puts them in front of the camera.
Not just
these
OpenAI,
are the keys,
but also SpaceX. SpaceX is here too. If you download the Robinhood EU app,
I mean, I think it's super cool.
Ample warning to do. You're about to figure out why we gave you that warning. I'd like to transfer these tokens to you and give you exposure
to the founder
of the most valuable private companies in the world right now. We'll give you a week to onboard. Then we're going to release all the tokens. So as long as you're a Robinhood EU customer, you'll be able to claim what we believe are the world's first OpenAI and SpaceX.
So I think the big deal here isn't because it's tokenized stocks, I think it's because it's private companies, right? Like that's the main thing.
Yeah.
That's actually a huge one because if it's private companies like unlisted, then that's pretty.
When you see stocks like that, isn't it just like insiders selling their equity? Like not insiders, but like employees and stuff. Like
Yeah, from what I remember, look, this is gonna be. I took one investing class. Some of you guys have heard this before. So the first exit or the first raise, right? When they're selling the initial private equity, that's like to get the company going, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the money. The second one, that's the exit. So like when you're trading private equity, this is what the professor was saying. Trading private equity is like a whole different game because it is like you're not doing TA on shit, dude. Like that doesn't matter. Like it's people are out here cashing out huge sums that they made like working for the company.
I mean, they deserve to exit, those people, right? Like
they do, but it is like you run the risk of like if the talent is exiting, then when this thing goes public, it might not matter. You know what I mean? Not like every private stock turned upwards.
Have you guys seen this trend on Twitter of like all these AI companies like trading employees like Pokemon cards?
Yeah, I love that, dude.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, dude, that one guy that they paid $100 million for.
100 mil.
Yeah, I think it was Gemini took him from OpenAI and they paid him $100 million, and they were putting it up. They were putting his stats up with like Steph Curry and like LeBron, because like his contract is worth more than like the top NBA players right now. But yeah, it was like a whole like they had like a little trading card thing for him and like everything. I thought that was so funny.
Wait, so could we do like, is this like a fantasy like draft for AI?
Yeah, that's like what it is, dude. It's like
need that for crypto, right? Like
man,
what companies who's batting for?
Yeah, I like it. Now, you know what I wish they would do with this? I wish they would make like a token, like a tokenomic pie graph like everybody does, and it could be like, yeah, so there's 30% to marketing, 15% to the team, 5% for community incentives. Like they should just do like the whole like tokenomics pie chart thing that everybody has to do.
I did see like pretty cool imagery of people selling fart coin for SpaceX. I think that's a vibe. The fact that there's liquidity to be able to do that is just amazing.
Oh man, Santa Claus is here. What's up, Santa?
The red phone.
The red phone.
I don't know what that means. I guess that's we're gonna get into crisis mode here soon. Don't worry. I guess like the last thing I want to say about this, before we move on to our next topic here, I think it's cool for the industry in that it's a fun, integration. But I still don't like. I never really like Robinhood's like custodial aspect, like for what people were saying, the freezing trading, and I don't really see it being any better by being blockchain integrated on their own L2.
Having tokens on the chain, on blockchain for stocks, I think that's been really missing for a long time. I got to step away again. I'll be back. You could take me off. I'll be back in like 10 minutes.
All right.
Till later, assistant. Now next up, tokenized stock trading, Kraken, additional tokenized stock trading. It's happening.
This was also just a touch on this real fast, obviously, but I guess they were like kind of competing because then there was also X stocks launched yesterday, which similar to what I guess not similar because Robinhood's doing like private company stuff, but X stocks was like 60 different stocks, and they hit Kraken, Bybit, and Solana. So as one guy pointed out, you can now get your grinder tokens on Solana. So yeah, more of that. I guess it's Netflix, Meta, Robinhood, Coinbase, Amazon, Nvidia. It's 60 to everyone, so it's a ton of stuff. But yeah, Fallout says now stock traders can get used to getting no sleep. Start selling the uppers, start selling the extra strong energy drinks, get them hooked.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how this is going to evolve in the market, like what kind of weird assets people build out of these things with tokens. But I am kind of worried that like this kind of further integration with TradFi is going to blow people up. like it's a kind of like these assets have so much deeper liquidity than like everything else. I feel like it'll be kind of easy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it's implemented. Next up, I have this last bit of general news here, which is pretty bullish in the short term for us. Goldman Sachs raises the Fed rate cut forecast to 3 in 2025. They're calling for 325 basis points cuts September, October, December. And it does seem to be like from the other news stories we're getting out of the White House, Trump is really angling to kill Jerome Powell if needed to get him to cut rates and to get another guy in there. So seems super aggressive, but
yeah, I was kind of surprised by this news. I believe it's this afternoon we have an announcement. I will be very surprised if they announce a rate cut today. But yeah, for Goldman Sachs' prediction to come true, it's like they basically have to do a cut today. So imagine the euphoria if it does happen. Hey, I'm on board if it happens, but I would be surprised because it's like a mix of things. Like, you know, the Fed has not bent. They're not supposed to bend to political pressure, and they have not bent to any political pressure. It seems like if they're going off their own criteria, it would not be time for a cut yet. So I would be very surprised if they cut today. If they do, hey, that's great. Great for us. But I don't know.
The thing is, when is Jerome Powell's term up? I think
May 2026.
Okay, because I could have sworn I saw an article saying that they were, okay. Yeah, Trump administration eyes Fed vacancy in early 26 to appoint Powell's successor.
Yeah.
So it seems like, and there's been a lot of language from Trump saying essentially that, like he's either trying to pressure Powell to do it or he's going to just wait to replace him with a guy who's going to do it.
Yeah.
So latest 2026. Oh, here's another article that just came out. Powell confirms that Fed would have cut by now if it weren't for tariffs. Oh, well. They are. So anyway. But this ties into the concept of joyful June, I think, right? Things might be turning around here, Dracula.
Joyful July.
Joyful July. I'm sorry. It was a...
Well, we were on Jump Off the Roof June, and now we're in Joyful July.
We're in Joyful July, and it's going to be August, and then we'll decide from there.
Good August.
Yeah, things are kind of shaping up a little bit. We kind of bounced off the bottom. Things are turning around. Momentum's kind of picking up. Kaido yaps have turned sentiment around like crazy. One thing that I think this yap campaign has revealed to me is the Sonic community is very motivated by incentives. Extremely motivated by incentives, because I saw a lot of people that were super negative. Now, all of a sudden, very little has changed, but now they've switched up.
Which is interesting because me and you talked about this once, that I was like, do the yaps track the sentiment itself? Because, you know, some of these guys could still just FUD every day and get their yaps. But I think there is some kind of, it figures it out somehow. That, you know,
there's an algorithm that they use. I think it's like proprietary. They don't reveal all the criteria, but I was reading through their docs because I was trying to figure out why I had no yap points. Okay, and partly it was my account was not connected, and another problem probably was I was doing a lot of shit posts. So it seems like you either have to get a lot of engagement on the post, like an outstanding amount of engagement, or it has to be informative, and it kind of weights this.
Yeah.
Based off also the weighting it gives your followers on the kind of quality of content.
Yeah, you should see mine. You know, it has that. So did you get signed in or not? I can't. So
Yeah.
Okay. So you've seen on the thing, there's a bar that kind of rates your posting style. So it's like, it's basically like the bar is kind of like saying, is this does this guy post useful information or is it shit post? And mine was like, all the way, there was only like maybe 3 or 4% for like useful information. It was basically like my entire thing is like shit posts.
Yeah, we're gonna have to kick it up, dude. I'm gonna have to kick up my yapping to a whole nother level.
I'm gonna have to get in Chat GPT and, you know, be like, Sonic is a, you know, Alt L1 with such soda TPS and blah blah blah, and and then you get like 1,000 likes and your Yap score goes up. So
hell yeah. This is my social card. I'll show it to you guys.
Fallout's got it right here. It is kind of creating a lot of slop.
Yeah, but it is turning the conversation around a little bit. So I don't have the little thing, isn't it? Where's that shit at? Is it in your leaderboard?
Yeah, it's like the leaderboard. It shows like you're kind of like if you're more of like a shit poster or if you're a.
I think the Kaito thing, like, yeah, there could be spam about it, but it's pretty. I'd rather have spam than have nothing.
True.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Corval was saying this before you hopped on. I mean, it's definitely shifted sentiment. Like not that it's shifted sentiment, but it's like there's a lot more posts going out and it's a lot more like bullish.
Yeah, do you want me guys to tease you the merch for Korea?
Yeah, let's see it.
It's so fire.
Dude, I'm not even on the freaking leaderboard, dude. I gotta step it up big. Drac, you're right here at the
somewhere, man.
Bro, there's I think I tweeted about this yesterday. Like, there's so much money to be made on the Kaito thing. It's nuts. I'm being honest.
Yeah, I have to destroy all these guys ahead of me here.
Yeah, let me see if I can put this on the screen.
Merch is on another level. I think we can all admit Sonic lovers and haters can admit the merch in Sonic is top tier.
It's gotten very good, man. It's
like compared to any chain. Look at that, bro.
Now Corval needs this. This looks like some nice breathable linen.
This is linen. This is terry cloth.
Terry cloth.
Terry cloth. Wiping out my counters with
it? Dude, that's some real shit, man. They got the terry cloth.
Bro, I'm talking about breathability. I'm talking about fashion. I'm talking about
this in New York, man.
Branding, I'm probably going to get screamed at for leaking this because these guys take the merch very seriously here at Sonic. Okay.
But,
wow.
I'll agree with you though. New York, the Sonic merch was excellent. There was, everybody was grabbing everything. This looks awesome. Imagine me and this guy right here. You know what I mean?
Did you guys chat about Korea at all?
We hadn't. We got it up on the thing here.
People are like, "Why are you guys so focused on Korea?" Do you guys know the stats behind Korea? Like, I'll give you a stat that the Kaito team, because I met the founder of Kaito in New York. I think this is a public stat, which they're very proud of. So I don't think they'd mind me sharing it. But effectively, the most so there was a Kaito airdrop. So the people who got the Kaito airdrop, the majority of people who staked more than what they were airdrop, meaning they bought tokens and still staked, they were in Korea. So, seersucker.
You guys need to make a Corval seersucker line.
We can also do banana hammocks, by the way.
All right, yeah, give me one of those too.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm taking
all sizes. But the Korean market is like US is the biggest, then China, then Korea. It's so weird, but it's just because per capita, like in Korea, they just have so much crypto adoption. It's like apparently insane. I've never been to Korea, so I'm looking forward. I'll be there for the event, and a bunch of the team, like Andre listed, will be there. But the irony that like people don't understand that maybe if they're new to Sonic, they don't understand the importance behind this, right? And I'm sure you guys do because you were around. But like the original team behind Fantom was a Korean team. Like Fantom's originally a Korean project. Then it was like kind of CTO'd by Andre and Mike. They took it over. They built it out. It was essentially like a scam before, right? Where literally it was an ICO era. They kind of raised money, didn't deliver the tech, whatever. It's a long story. But there was a lawsuit, and there's plenty of documentation that I would love to, I could send over and you guys could look at it next time if you talk about Korea again, where effectively we won the lawsuit there, but we've been kind of like not blackballed from the Korean market because we are listed on like BitThumb and I think another dex called Coin1. But it's just that our exposure has just not been what it should be. So like my thing, I have like a list of things that I want to do for Sonic, and this is the next, right? Like it's like Coinbase dedicate like a year and a half to Coinbase and simultaneously do a bunch of other things. But once Coinbase was out of the way, I was like, you know what, full speed Korea. Like we need to get listed on Upbit. So like getting listed on Upbit, I don't know how to like. Upbit is the hardest listing in the world. I guarantee, like for us anyway. I don't know about other projects. It's so hard, bro.
Yeah.
Like so hard to communicate. So we've had this on our like plans for so long. So now the other like things have been like kind of knocked out of the way. There's a bunch of other things like ETF, all the stuff that's what I'm currently working on. But Korea was just like the immediate next step right after Coinbase. So the second I knew that Coinbase was like happening, like effectively like the day it got listed, I was like, okay, full speed, and let's like go even harder, because we were working on it a little bit. But now it's just do events. And right now, like on the Luma, we have like 300 people signed up for this in like 24 hours.
Oh, I wanted to show something that I don't think you see on the screen. The surprise gift is very important.
It is super important. Do you guys know about this? Do you guys know about the surprise gift stuff?
So like apparently, me and you were discussing it, that apparently in Korea, these crypto events are really popular, but it's different in the US, where, the US, you go and you get swag, you get your shirts and your hats and your cups and stickers. Well, in Korea, they go to these things and they expect there to be like iPad giveaways.
Yeah, legit.
And like, laptops and like,
I mean, they're like Samsung products. I mean, so from what I understand, they like Dracula said, there's so many events that you have to like, if you want people to come and like want to actually show up, you have to have executives there. So that's like one of the things, like all of the leadership team is going, a majority of the leadership team is going, and give out like really good prizes, which I think is like kind of funny, because it's going to get like that in the US at some point, right? Where it's like, there's so many crypto events and like you have to do something. And I some projects give away tokens, but I feel like giving away tokens is a little bit cumbersome. Like, what am I going to walk around and like send people tokens? It's like so ridiculous. So and also like we are planning some pretty dope La Boo Boo merch for this event. We're on top of it.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, like I remember you saw this last run too, where especially like when I was doing a lot of stuff on like BSC, you could always tell if it was like kind of like an Asian team, because like obviously last run, I'm talking like when the money was like flowing, it would be like a new DeFi protocol, and it would be like enter to win a Tesla. I'm like, enter to win a Tesla, like I'm just trying to stake like my BNB,
Last cycle it was like that. Last cycle, it was insane. Even DeFi protocols are like just insane stuff. But now, I mean, I understand it, because
Yankee might be onto something there. We'll see.
Yeah, we're working on that. That's happening behind the scenes. I don't know the lead time, because it takes time to get like more customized stuff, but we're definitely on that. Sonic Squid Games.
Squid Games.
Bro, I don't know. I don't want to leave any spoilers, but yeah, I did watch the final Squid Game, and I definitely don't want that to be my first trip to Korea. So
Haven't seen it. Don't care to. I only care about the money, guys. So how is this going to make me money, Sonic Assistant, South Korea?
Good question. It won't. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee to make money, bro. I think the most important thing for me and like the foundation at this point is just get Sonic into as many places. Like the concept is that if you have your project, whether it's Sonic or any other chain, the more distribution you have, it's all about distribution. The likelihood of like the project being a bigger success is very closely tied to distribution. That's what I feel. I don't know if other people agree, like in the company, and that's up to them. But
isn't it?
Huh?
That's like marketing 101, isn't it? You want it in as many people's hands as possible.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of time, and it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of effort, honestly. So there is no like direct ROI, like saying like, oh, well, it's hard to measure ROI in terms of like BD spend. Honestly, it's very, very difficult, because I mean, in the case of Sonic, I had this conversation, I think yesterday. I think I was talking to Dracula about this like yesterday, 2 days ago, where like we just got USDC. Think about it in your head for a second. Like a project that's been around as long as Sonic, they got USDC like 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever the reason is, like I'm not here to talk about like why, because I don't know. But all I can say is that like we're racing against people who started the race before So like we're playing catch up, right? So that's why like I'm going super hard. The team is going super hard to like push, so we can catch up to all these guys that have the distribution. Who's really good at distribution? Polygon, super good. Even with the token price not performing, their distribution and like their volume for on ramp, off ramp, stablecoin volume is huge. So like they still have that, right? Yeah. So if you want to have something like a longevity in a project, you need to try and get the distribution as fast as possible. So that's what I'm working on. It's not just there too, like right after Korea, and like you already see the efforts in China. It's getting big actually. China and then Korea, and then like the next target after Korea is Latin America. So we'll be in Latin America actually. Breaking news if you guys know, if you want to know.
Where's the first stop? Mexico City?
Argentina for DevConnect, DevConnect, I think.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Dude. First time. Hey, Sonic, first time Latin America.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude, if you need someone in Latin America, let me know. I'll go down to Argentina, but my specialty really is Beijing. If you want to go to China, dude, I know all about Baiju.
I thought you were gonna say like you know a guy or something.
He learned Mandarin for Singapore, so
dude, I I'm ready. Mugu Gai Pan, I'm ready, bro.
Singapore is gonna shape. I mean, Singapore right now for us, I've instructed the team to like give it a break, honestly, because I'm helping a lot with the events, like getting sponsors and stuff. But I told them like, yo, guys, just chill, because everyone's at ETHCC right now. Like everyone, I'm glad that we didn't go, because if it was 2 back-to-back like hot conferences and there's no air conditioning from what I've heard, like in the majority of these hotels, I would have killed myself. I would have killed myself live on the show.
You gotta base like your entire travel itinerary on like the air conditioning situation, and I'm not even kidding about that.
For sure. So I'm like, yo, guys, just chill, focus on this Korea stuff. Let's get Korea right. Like, look, 24 hours, 300 signups. I didn't go through them yet to start accepting people, because I try to accept like people that I don't want to miss first, like partners and stuff. But yeah, Korea, Latam, whatever, however you say it.
Dude, Sonic worldwide, dude. We're spreading all over the place. And I know Sonic Nigeria is bumping. I'm always talking to people about Sonic Nigeria, so I know it's popping off there too.
Sonic Ghana.
Don't sleep on it though. Sonic Assistant Nigeria, massive fin service market growing up.
It's true. It's true. Do you want to come to Africa with me?
Dude, I'll go with you to Nigeria.
Well,
yeah, let's go. Yo, what is wrong with this chat? Time to onboard some BBLs.
That's right.
I actually thought so. You bring this up because we're actually already working on this. Don't worry. I got our best guy on this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into details, but Sonic Ireland, bro, come on. Don't be silly.
Yo, I hate these messages. This guy Yankee Ruin, bro, is a tweet from Andre yesterday, a sign that maybe he might be getting ready to come back to social. Bro, the guy retweets all day. He's on. He's watching. He's retweeting nonstop.
Well, in Yankees' defense, I will say I think he means like actual content. Like I
hope so, but it just pisses me off when people ask this, because it's like the guy can tweet whatever the hell he wants. It's his own fucking account.
Yeah. But I think he goes in waves, like he'll have a wave where he like actually like makes some content, does some shit posts,
what I will say in his defense is I think the waves come from when he's like really, really working on something aggressively to when he's taking a break.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. And I mean, I understand that. I mean, because that's a lot of us kind of have that happen.
I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Andre, but like our whole team was with Andre last week. Like he's very much alive and doing well.
Yeah. So yeah, I see what Yankee's saying though. It's kind of like, retweets are fine. It shows that he hasn't died in the basement coding, but the content hits different, like it gets different engagement.
I think he will probably be more active. I think we had really good team session. I think I posted something that Michael Kong like messaged in the group the other day, and he says it often. He says, I think that the Sonic team right now is the best team that we've ever had. I agree. I wasn't around back then. Like I joined a year and a half ago, but I can tell you like the team is firing on all levels. Like I'll just give you an example. Like Ash, this guy is on another level, bro. Like Ash is really, really good at his job. Like Ash was just in New York, goes to every event. He's out all day chatting with people. Next thing you know, he's in Cannes. Like he just flew right to France. He's there doing the same thing. Then, like but he's working the whole time, right? So I always try to like give the credit to those people that are working, but you don't really see it. Like you guys don't know who's posting on this Sonic main account all the time, right? Like there's a social team, a marketing team, but like a lot of it is Luis and Ash. Like the vast majority, I'd say 95% is Luis and Ash. And those guys are pumping out, whether they're on an airplane or whatever. Like they're always engaging with teams on Telegram, and then just like a bunch, like they're busy as hell.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, they're busy little bees, dude. I was noticing that at permissionless.
Oh yeah.
Now, do we want to crack open Pandora's box here, Dracula? We want to get into the drama here. Assistant, you ready for this? We got to talk about the Dex Wars, dude. We got to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, I would love to talk about the Dex Wars.
I feel like one way or the other, or you were going to be like, this bullshit, I can't talk about this, or
no, I don't care. I mean, I won't have. I'm not taking sides in anything, but I will make my opinion clear, which is I think that the performance of an application shows. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
that's my personal opinion. I think that if you have a Dex that, I'm not naming any names, if you have a Dex that's consistently doing massive amounts of revenue, and then you have one that's maybe not, or 2 or 3 or 4, I mean, I don't think there's an intervention there from any behalf that's facilitating that increase. I think it's easy to say that there's maybe reason why someone is performing well, but I think there's a lot of reasons. I think that you can very easily get outpaced in this market, and it has nothing to do with support from the foundation. Because for us, like we don't provide liquidity on any of these dexes. Like we help with like LSTs and stuff, but not like high dexes need certain assets that generate. Let me just say this before you start, because I think it has a lot to do with volume. Dexes need a lot of certain assets to make money. One, blue chip pools. USDC, ETH, USDC, S, WBTC, USDC, S, ETH, right? That, because there's a lot of volume, okay? And on those dexes, there's impermanent loss. So the people who are trading are willing to get impermanent loss, right? Or LPing, sorry. That's one thing. The other side is memes, because memes are like 1% fee tier. So those are where the majority of the money is made. However, on one side, the blue chip pools that you have like ETH, S, USDC, WBTC, let's say near infinite liquidity, right? Meaning that the rewards or the fees collected are very liquid. On the other side, memes, they're not really super liquid. So like the notional value looks like it's a lot, but it's not in reality. That's all I want to say. I don't really want to comment on one Dex or another Dex. I think that a Dex has the responsibility to prove itself in terms of performance. If you are outperforming a Dex, right, for 6 months straight, and then all of a sudden you lose wind, and like maybe your community is dying down, and then another Dex comes back, that Dex now becomes a front runner just naturally. How that's done with emissions and fees and efficiency of the tech or the routers or the aggregators, I don't know. All I know is that most chains are always going to have a Dex that's in the lead, and if there's another Dex or another 2 or another 3 that come in to compete, that's good. Healthy competition between Dexes to fight for users and fight for volume and fees, that's a good thing. If you have one Dex, like let's say BNB chain, Pancake Swap, that's it. So boring.
Yeah.
So I guess, all right, you kind of hit the question here is what makes a Dex successful, right? It's the revenue generation, right? How much volume and the assets it's generating this volume on, right?
Any application for that matter, Dexes or not.
So, I mean, let's just say this is a business, right? It's all about the revenue generation. So like, it's all about this kind of pure capitalistic competition at the end of the day, right? It's not really like personal, but I think a lot of emotions get mixed up in this because just the nature of the industry, right? Communities form, bag holders are baptized.
Yeah,
you
but
know what I mean?
Here's the thing with a small ecosystem, right? When you're inside of a vacuum, and there isn't new capital coming in, when you see one token, like if you're in Ethereum,
Start cannibalizing each other.
exactly,
Grabs
you don't see it so much in like Ethereum or Solana. I mean, you see it on memes in Solana. Like you'll see the money move over, especially if there are similar protocols, because the enthusiasts already understand. I'll call them enthusiasts because I wouldn't say these people are traders. They're more enthusiasts, right? These people, they essentially are familiar with the mechanics of like how a certain type of DEX works, whether it's UniV2, UniV3, UniV4, VE33, algebra, whatever, like, or a fork of something. They know how they work. So it's like, it's easy for people to bounce between two and have like pretty similar communities, because at that point, it's just like, there's yield on this pool. Like if you have exhibit A, exhibit B, USDC S, USDC S, one pool has 20% APR, one pool has 50%.
Yeah.
You already know how the apps work. Which one are you going to go to?
Yeah. And you know, that's typically how it's always been, is just been like, you know, when you're in DeFi, you're always hunting for the yield. And what happens is, you know, especially on like larger chains, is like exactly what you're saying. Someone launches a pool, it has the best APR, it gets diluted. So now another DEX has the better APR. People move there till it gets diluted. You know, and then the cycle keeps going when you're just hunting for yield, right? I mean, because that's at the end of the day what it should be about, is the, you know, the product performance, the yield you can make from it. And, you know, I think that with Sonic, what I've seen these last few days is kind of like what you were saying. It's a small community. And to me, it's like, there's the Sonic community, right? That's like everything. Now, I feel like you're putting yourself in a bad financial situation to only use one product because you're like, you know, you're in the Discord and you and 10 other guys. And I'm not talking about any decks in particular, because I'm talking about all of them, because all of them have this happening, where you're in a Discord with like 10, 20 other like-minded guys on Sonic, but you're taking money off the table. And if you're in crypto and you don't care about money, I'm a little confused by that. But
that's just a down
money off the table.
When you're a maxi for one protocol, that's going to happen, right? Because technically you should be hedged, right? Like if you were, I think people who are new to crypto or who are maybe not learned from previous cycles, like they fall into that where they become, I think being a maxi for one token is a horrible idea. I'll be honest. I think it's a horrible idea. It seems really, really good at one point because like you're really committed to the ecosystem, whatever. But then when things start going bad, like you're not hedged and you don't have the security. So like if it's hard to say like you have a ton of bags of Sonic and one project. Like you should really be distributed out. If you were really like a Sonic maxi, have your hand in a bunch of things so that this way the tides will turn and it will be one DEX 1 week and it'll be another DEX. It'll be in one lending market, another lending market. Like it's impossible to just play one hand and feel like you have enough exposure. It's very, very, very hard to manage. Not financially. I'm just saying like just the stress.
I want to make a point here, right? That ties to this, right? If you're properly distributed, right? If you're properly diversified, right? It also gives you a healthier look on the outlook on the future of this whole thing, right? Because if you like what you want is the success of the entire network, right? And so you don't want to be put in this position where a leading project is now your enemy, right? Because then you are handicapping your own success, right? Imagine like if you're on fucking Solana and you're just like, nah, fuck pump fun, dude. Fuck pump fun. Now, there's a lot of reasons they say fuck pump fun, but they're bringing a lot of activity and a lot of money to you still, right?
Well, hold on. Let's say something I just want to clarify something. The reason why people say fuck pump fun is very simple. It's because pump fun is making more money than people who are building real products that are like very detailed primitives. Because arguably pump fun is a shitter and it's very simple and it's very, very, very like, oh, here we go. Andre posted. What did he post? Let's see.
Well, we got to know. But yeah, no, I realize what you're saying here. Pump fun is negative for its own reason. But I'm talking about this general trend. If you have a winner on your network, imagine this, like you're in the mall. The network is like a mall, right? And everyone's got a shop. If one shop is doing really good, do you really want to blow them up? They're bringing foot traffic to the mall. Okay, yeah, we got to pull up Andre's tweet here.
I mean,
I'm
the
gonna be
post
so
says, Fee M. It's a first of all the I want to give a big shout out to this guy Sudi Pan from Chain Risk. Do you know this guy?
I don't know him. What's
This
he called?
guy does really great content on Sonic. Really great.
Sudipan.
Yeah,
All right,
I met him in Dubai actually. He's a really nice guy and just puts a lot of thought into his posts, and he's very bullish on Sonic. So I big ups to Sudipan. If you're listening, bro, big respect for you. Thank you so much for like supporting us all the time. But yeah, I mean,
quote retweet, dude.
Quote retweet. Are people happy with a quote retweet, or is if it's not just a regular standalone tweet, is it like a problem?
No, I don't think it's a problem. Oh, you're saying like, are people going to be upset?
Yeah, like, no, dude, retweets and quote retweets don't count. You got to be organic tweets.
I'm telling you, dude. Sonic Labs needs to put like gang stalk Andre Cronje. You guys need to put like cameras on him 24/7. That's the only way to please these people, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's supposed to live like Big Brother, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, crypto Big Brother. Now we're talking.
Look, I've got lots of crypto bachelorette, dude. Sonic Sweeties, come on, dude. Tell me that's not a good idea, bro. Love Island, I got plenty of one.
Bro, do you see this? Do you guys follow? It's a Twitter bot. It's called Remarks. It's from the same people as from what's the shit? Watcher Guru. It's called Remarks. They post throughout the day of like breaking like non-crypto news, and this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. I mean, not to be political, but I think it's super funny. President Trump says farmers need laborers to do work.
It's true, man.
Like, bro, yeah. Who do you think those farmers are, bro? Who do you think those laborers are? They might look like Corval.
No, dude. I'm a Castizo, bro. Yeah. Hey, you want to know an interesting fact? No, I'm not going to tell. It's too boring. Let's move on. Let's talk about this. I want to talk about this here. This is a little dramatic here because I just thought this was a good example of kind of what I'm talking about here.
I'm not commenting on this.
You're not going to comment on it?
I'm out.
Comment on it.
No, this is a clear jab at somebody else.
Yeah, it's a clear jab at someone else, but I have a problem with just for anyone in my audience, just a piece of advice I would say is this. I don't think this kind of thing is very helpful for in any way that you think it might be, and that you're kind of just shooting yourself in the foot.
I mean, it is helpful for getting followers for them.
Yeah, it's helpful for getting followers, but like it's not going to create the narrative that you want, I guess. I don't know. Big thing here is it's just like it's kind of sad. It just reads sad to me. Taking shots at DeFi Llama is crazy.
By the way, DeFi Llama, I will say something about DeFi Llama. Big ups to DeFi Llama. DeFi Llama, you don't pay them anything. Just for people who don't know this, right? Like anyone who's in this industry and talks shit about DeFi Llama has no idea what they're talking about. They are the most active team I've ever seen, and they don't charge anything.
Yeah, if you guys remember that controversy last year or a year, maybe 2 years ago, where the team, half the team, one guy.
Oh yeah. He left,
and the team was like in revolt. They were like, "No, we're never getting paid for this. We work for free only."
I genuinely don't know how they have money. I'll be honest. Like, I have no idea how.
One guy bankrolling them. Maybe the Llama swap.
I know like early into the life cycle of DeFi Llama. Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. It's the meta aggregator makes money. You're right about that. And also Llama Pay and stuff. But early on, they were like taking donations like 2020 and stuff, 2019, and that probably helped because it probably built up a nice treasury. But actually, I could say like I'm working a lot with DeFi Llama right now, like actively working with 0x and GMI. That's the founder. To actually add fee monetization to DeFi Llama for Sonic. It'll be like the only chain that has anything built bespoke for it.
Wow.
So yeah,
nice, dude.
Big ups, DeFi Llama. Big ups.
Yeah, they're a great team. I want to say anytime I've worked with them in the past, like trying to get things put on DeFi Llama or things fixed on DeFi Llama, really easy. And you often just do it yourself. Not like numbers wise, but like if you're like
Oh, you just do a pull request on GitHub, and yeah.
It's a CSV. So like, if you have any problems with DeFi Llama, also super active in their Discord. They'll message you back in like 30 minutes. Crazy. It's a crazy team that they do it for free, that they're so responsive.
I got to run. I actually have to have a meeting. By the way, like, not that anyone cares, but I've been going to a lot of meetings in person for Sonic lately, like a lot outside of permissionless. Just there's a lot of crypto companies that are here in New York. And I find myself very frequently going to physical meetings in offices, which is like so weird for me, but I don't mind because it get to get out of the house, which is nice. So I got to run to a meeting. One thing I want to say before I leave is if you are Korean or you live in Korea or you know anyone in Korea, come to our event, DM me on X, DM me on Telegram. Like, I want to just meet as many Korean community members. I think that they've been hiding, and yeah, they're coming out. They're coming out in droves. Like, I've seen just so many Korean posts lately. So that's cool. One more thing I'll say, that Kaito, we'll be announcing additional incentives for Kaito. It's been working really well, where we'll be targeting Korean and Chinese communities, like individual budgets for each. So we'll probably get on that soon. There's a bunch of stuff coming from like some token, from some like VC investments. Like, we'll be doing. There's a lot of stuff coming at Sonic. Like, it's very, very busy. So that's the good news. All right, guys, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I hope that the Dex wars end, because I think that it's the dumbest thing ever. I think that everyone is friends, and we all want Sonic to succeed, and we all want the Sonic ecosystem tokens to succeed. The only way to do that is just have good vibes and just support each other. So, all right, guys.
That's right.
Have a good meeting.
See ya.
Good luck, assistant. Nice. Now, I know we're at the hour here, but real quick, I wanted to pull up some other small news. Well, wait, I have one other funny thing from these Dex Wars I thought was awesome.
These Dex Wars.
We're accusing founders of being Somali pirates and hiring $50,000 a day bots. $50,000 a day in bots. Now, we talked about this a little bit before the show.
Yes.
Both of these are kind of like completely insane to say. Do we want to talk? You got time to talk about the numbers, Drac?
One thing I think that people, all right, it's hard. I'm trying to think how to say this without just being like totally, all right, I'll just go into it. There's like this common thing about everything's botted, all the volumes botted, this and that. And, like, for instance, speaking of our favorite website, DeFi Llama, look at the 24-hour volume on Sonic, $45 million. So let's walk through this real fast, okay? For the bot lovers. If one DEX has 60% of the chain's volume, right? So let's say 60% of $45 million, right? That's, I'm just doing rough math off the top of my head. I don't know. Let's say that's $35 million, right? If that would be 35 million of the 45 going through like just one of the DEXs, right? The thing about bots are you pay gas fees and you still pay the exchange fees, right? So it would literally be impossible for somebody to bot 60% of Sonic's volume since the launch of Sonic. We're not talking free. We're not talking $100,000 even. We're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars would be spent to have to do this. And if somebody is paying that's insane, but it's also unheard of. So it is kind of like it's just like, the timeline the last couple days has been kind of the first time in a long time where I'm like, like it just doesn't even actually, I don't know, it doesn't feel good to be here right now in the middle of this. And it's just like people are just throwing things out with zero evidence, zero proof. They're just saying shit like everything's botted, which makes actually no sense. And some of these guys, I think you have higher IQs than that. But, I was saying before the show, if you have, even if you have a low IQ and you just sit there and think and walk through it, it doesn't make any sense. And, I'll say this too. Like, I know a lot of these people. I've worked with all these people in one capacity or the other. I try to help everybody the most I can, but there does have to be like a line where, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, is there is a capitalism element, right? And to just stay in an already small community and further wall yourself off from an already small community, you're leaving money on the table. You're hurting yourself, really. You're only hurting yourself, honestly. This environment should encourage people to improve their products. Like I said, DeFi is capitalism. There's no way around it. This should inspire people to improve their products, to inspire people to, you know, make like innovations, right? That's what we're here for. So, you know, I just, like I said, I think the whole thing's just a little crazy. Because everything is, you know, everything's the cabal. There's all, you know, everybody's throwing this stuff out like everything's botted. There's secret money, there's secret cabal, but it's like, you know, next time you do that, why don't you post some TXs? Why don't you post some evidence of what you're talking about? Just to like put this stuff on the timeline is just like kind of crazy to me. And you're really, everybody's just actually hurting everybody. Nobody's helping anything. Nobody's going to use your decks because of what you're saying about some other decks botting, you know, like, and vice versa. Like, you know, it's almost like politics, you know, it's like, you're not going to change anybody's mind. You know, what changes people's minds is money and numbers and metrics. And whether you agree with how somebody gets that or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. We're in DeFi. So I would just like to invite everyone to put on some big boy pants and make some fucking money and stop this ridiculous.
Gotta get money. Get big.
That's it, dude. That's it. And it get big, dude. They ain't got enough money. Got to get big.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that I was going to cut you off.
No, that was literally like you timed the drop perfect. That was the end. So,
I mean, yeah, we got the illustrious Dr. DeFi here. He's topping the Kaido charts.
Dude, I knew Zorg. I knew he was a bot when I met him in New York. I had a feeling.
Oh, wait a minute. I did meet Zorg in New York, dude. This is
I had a feeling there was just something behind the eyes. I was like, this is a humanoid.
Oh yeah. And one last little summary here I have. And then you'll be free to go. All of you will be free to go after this.
You'll be dismissed.
Okay, there we go. I just saw this. It's a very small post by Ronan Sam, but I just saw it last night when I was prepping for the show, and it was just like I wanted to say I'm loving Kaido because it's making my job a little bit easier because now everyone's making content and listing shit for me that I can just grab. But this is a pretty good summary for a lot of the things that I was excited for yesterday. The Sandwich Double Sharp Paint Swap Sonic podcast with the assistant was yesterday. They did it early. And it was pretty interesting. They were talking about clubs, about the paint swap system for swapping the NFTs. It's a club. And so it's got more use outside of just swapping the airdrop NFTs, which is going to be, it's kind of lit. Brush team always cooking. They're always doing some crazy shit, dude. And I love it.
Yeah, you know, I sent Double Sharp a DM because I said, yeah, that's cool. You're on Assistant's show and not GMSONIC. So next time I see you, you're getting a paddling. And he said he was looking forward. He said he was looking forward to getting the paddle. So we'll see what happens.
Double Sharp's a cool guy. He's a really cool dude. I can't wait to talk to him again, get him on the show, and see what else he's been cooking up. Last time I talked to him, he was making flamethrowers and stuff. It was sick. But then also we've got Pay0fi self-repaying loans coming in Q4. That was announced recently by Stinky. I saw. George Dougal's minute out. I bought a couple. Oh, I was supposed to give one of those out today. So what should be the challenge, dude, for giving one of these out?
I guess you should say in the comments that Benny is bald.
Yeah, I guess in the spirit of the Dougals, if you can, at me, tweet it, say Benny is bald, and I'll pick one of you to get my exclusive, extremely expensive Dougals NFT, $1,500 market price. Okay, so you gotta be telling Benny he's bald. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say.
At Mason Corval, Benny is bald.
Mason Corval, Benny is bald, and then I had one other one. No, that's about it. Yeah. So lots of cool stuff still in development here. Oh, Birdmania just mentioned. Yeah, basically eggs for the airdrop NFT, where you can kind of, well, you give them you just borrow against the value of your S, right? And you can loop it.
Yeah. It's, I don't know if it goes as far as the looping, but it's basically, it's a way to get your airdrop liquid from your NFT when those drop. And I don't know, I can't remember all the specific mechanics, but it's an interesting idea. They have like an LST where you give them you deposit your NFT, it gives you their LST, and then I think by the time the drop's over and everything, you can even just redeem for S 1-for-1 if you want to. I think that's going to be cool. Like we haven't gotten the drop going yet, but the paint swap order book looks really nice. They kind of previewed it yesterday. Try to get some like screen grabs for it later. It was live, so I didn't grab any, but the order book looks awesome. And yeah, I mean, hopefully we see some like interesting products, get developed around this concept, of this NFT for the airdrop.
Yeah. So, final words. I hope you guys are seeing now while we're going to be entering Joyful July here. We've got new exciting things launching, new primitives to the network, clubs, the NFT freaking borrowing mechanic, the airdrop, all these things are happening, movements happening, and we're kind of primed perfectly, I think. So guys, be positive, and just get along, please.
That's right. Let's pump it together. All right. We're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it together, guys. All right. Well, we'll catch you all next time. Friday, same time. Adios.
See you Friday.
GMSONIC is Corval and Dracula Presley. GM.